Namaste. Welcome, everyone. I'm Alakhananda Ma, Ayurvedic doctor and principal of Alandi Ayurveda Gurukula, a unique apprenticeship-style Ayurveda school in Boulder, Colorado, offering 2- and 4-year programs. Check it out. Also, we have a wonderful clinic where you can see me or you can see our students. So, with the holidays coming up and winter rushing in, we are going to talk about a controversial topic, little bit, meat and Ayurveda. So basically, do you have to be vegetarian for Ayurveda to be relevant to you? Actually, you don't. Myself personally, I've been vegetarian since before most of you were born, but you don't have to be vegetarian to follow Ayurveda, even though India has a 2 millennia tradition of vegetarianism. So how the vegetarian diet came into India is from the now little known Jain tradition. Uh, the vegetarian diet is based on respect for all life. It's based on ahimsa or non-violence. It's based on the yogic tradition of non-violence. And Jainism was the predominant cult in much of India from the 5th to the 12th centuries. So for a long time. But Ayurveda is much more ancient than this. Ayurveda goes back to the early Iron Age. So the texts of Ayurveda do make provision for meat eaters as well as for vegetarians. So, yes, you can come to clinic, you can have an Ayurvedic lifestyle, you can gain your health through Ayurveda without having to become vegetarian, even though there are all sorts of other good reasons to become vegetarian. So if you listen to my podcast, Winter Wellness, and if you haven't listened to it, you should listen to it. You'll notice that the Ayurvedic texts do recommend meat as a warming and strengthening food during the winter. Now, for those of us that are vegetarian, you can ignore that. You don't have to have that meat. You can find other yummy ways to get warmed and strengthened during the winter. But yes, the texts do mention meat as a warming and strengthening food in the winter. But not so fast to go over to Arby's or McDonald's. That kind of meat comes from concentrated feeding operations or feedlots. If you knew what was really in your burger, in fact, what's really in your burger, a lot of it you wouldn't even consider meat. It's scraped so close to the bone. Even grass-fed steak might not be your best choice. It's something that is heavy and hard to digest. So in that in that podcast, we did say that we should have meat soups in the winter. We want to have meat in a digestible way. So think about it. You probably turn to Ayurveda because you want to heal a chronic illness or you have fatigue. Maybe you have digestive problems. What does that mean? It means that your Agni, your digestive fire is low. And this is something that they literally taught us in nutrition course in medical school. Yes, in the UK, we did have nutrition course in medical school in the 70s. That there may be a lot of protein in meat, but there's not necessarily a lot of protein you're going to digest. If you eat that steak, you may not get too much out of it. So we want to have the digestible and absorbable form of the meat because dense and heavy foods just weaken our agni, weaken our digestive fire, and we build up more ama, more toxins. So, what are some of the ways that you should be having the non-vegetarian foods in your winter diet? Meat soups, especially chicken soup, one of my very fond child memories back from my uh, pre-vegetarian days is Granny's pot of Yiddish chicken soup. Just the best. So delicious. We call it Jewish penicillin, and there's a reason for it. It's very healthy for you, and it will help build your muscle and build your strength. Also, bone broths. Back in my family home, there was always a pot of bone broth on. We never wasted anything. Nowadays, in our home, there's always a pot of veg broth on because we never waste the scrap of our vegetables. And that's really healthy too. But bone broth will build bones, will strengthen the nervous system, and especially if you use chicken broth, it will improve your digestion. Another way to render your meat foods more digestible is to use spices. Like if you're coming to our clinic, use one of our Agni churnas, our Vata churna, our Pitta churna, our Kapha churna. You can sprinkle it on your food. If you don't want your meat to taste like that, eat some of it between bites. That will help. Especially ginger, turmeric, cilantro, cinnamon, and cumin. Those superfoods will help you get the most out of your meat, but maybe you don't want your food to taste so Indo. So you could try Persian recipes. You could try Moroccan recipes, other, but definitely try curries as a great way to have digestible and well-spiced meat. You can lay off of the hot chilies, but putting the ginger, turmeric, cinnamon, cumin in those curries, some garam masala, that'll be really good, much more digestible, much more nutritious than steaks and burgers. Same with stews. They're going to be more nutritious, more digestible. And if you do want a more Western taste, not an Indo or a Persian or Moroccan taste, use garlic, bay, oregano, basil, and thyme to season your meat soups and your meat stews. But you could try, there's a lot of Persian recipes for things like chicken soup, beef stew, fish stew, Moroccan tagine recipes, very nicely digestible, a lot of South Indian meat, fish, and chicken curry, and North Indian meat, fish, and chicken curry recipes. All of those are ways to render the meat more nutritious, more digestible, and more balanced for your Agni. So, yep, enjoy your holidays. Warm up with your meat if that's the right for you. Maybe next time I'll talk about why it will be so much better to join us vegetarians. But in the meantime, uh, make that meat well cooked, fluid, and digestible so that it will benefit you the best. Okay, so see you next week. Don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to our channel if you've not already done so, and tell your friends about the channel. Namaste.